in both real estate and in like marketing advertising, there's something to be said for showing up authentically. Showing up in your flip-flops and your socks makes people trust you because they know you're being yourself around them.
Boom.
I feel like selling homes and selling advertising, it's kind of the same. Nobody wants to rock with you if they can't trust you.
Welcome to the Your Peak Life podcast. Let's conquer the summit of life and reach the apex of our potential.
Welcome to another episode of Your Peak Life podcast. DJ Julien Rivera here. If you're not following, if you're not subscribed, you already know what to do, but you have to do the call to action because if not, you won't do it. But it's not about me today. It's about the awesome guests we have. We got my man June, Edwin Rodriguez in the house, a.k.a. Pitbull, Mr. Miami, 2 up, 2 down, VA status with the ankles out today. And we also got the lovely Ashley and Patricia, Living 757 co-hosts in the house.
Nice.
What's up, ladies?
Yes,
What's
the coolest show in town.
That's what's up. So
How are
long-
you guys?
We're good. We're good. Hold on. I got a question.
Yes.
I've known Ashley for a minute. I've known you for a little while, mostly on social media because I see you traveling all over the world.
Yes.
But how long have you guys been working together now on the Living 757 show in Hampton Roads?
This is our 6th year.
Yes.
Damn, that long?
Going to-
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's going to
and
be 6
we've had
now.
the same 3 hosts since the inception of the show.
It's you two and Quincy, right?
Right.
Got you.
Yes,
Okay.
Quincy Carr.
Perfect.
What up, Quality Comedy King?
I appreciate you coming
Yeah,
today,
we
man.
miss you, Queen.
Thanks for being here, Quincy. Shade. Okay, it's all good. So Ashley, you and I go back. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, just so we know who we're talking to, so the audience recognizes name.
Okay, so I was born and raised in this area, went away to college, came back for a little bit, started from the very bottom in television and radio here at the same time. I was a production assistant for News Channel 3, and I started in radio with Sinclair.
Gotcha.
And then quickly went to Intercom in promo. I, after that, moved to Los Angeles for 4 years, where I worked for TMZ and the NFL Network. And,
How cool is that?
Yeah,
huh?
that was pretty fun.
That's pretty cool.
TMC.
Yeah, I remember seeing you at those Playboy Mansion parties. I just want to put that out there. That's
Yes,
pretty
she
good.
was.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. My roommate was Playmate of the Year.
It's not bad. Not bad to be in that room. All right,
Not
cool.
bad
Right.
at all. My first big LA party was Midsummer Night's Dream.
That's like,
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was before Hef died. So,
Nice.
it was before the era kind of ended.
right.
But then I started planning high-end, large-scale events. Planned events at several Super Bowls, NBA All-Star, MLB All-Star, Coachella, Burning Man. And then I kind of decided I wanted to slow down a little bit, so I came back home to Hampton Roads.
She came back to Virginia's for lovers because she wants to get married. That's not going to happen in LA.
Yeah.
Well, it can happen.
And mission accomplished, happily married,
Right.
2 little kids.
For Virginia's for lovers.
Awesome.
Yep.
Very goal oriented. I'm coming back here. I'm getting married and have kids. Fast forward now, she got 2 beautiful kids.
Yes.
She's married. She's happy, and she's still in her element with
I am.
entertainment, which is dope.
I feel like Hannah Montana. It's the best of both worlds.
All right, Miley, I see what you're saying. That's cool. All right, Patricia, back to you. You've been in the
Yes.
game for a while too. Tell us about you. Just a quick backstory.
Well, I'm born in Uruguay, South America. I moved here 23 years ago. I didn't speak English at all.
Okay.
I moved here with my 2 kids and my ex-husband, and I was like, yeah, let's go to America. I was not even having an idea what I'm going to get into. And after 5 years being in my house, my boys are so beautiful. That's what I say. I think every mom says that about their kids. I just started, content agencies to work for them most of the time, to be models. So I don't know. And just every time that I took them for a production side, for a commercial, producers asked me, do you want to play the real mom? I was like, I don't speak English. And they were like, don't worry, you just have to smile. I go, I can do that. And that's how I get involved in this business. Little by little, I started going to more productions. And then after 14 years working in the industry for my kids, I divorced, and that was the only thing that I knew in America at the time. So I was okay, guess what? I had to contact them. I called all my agents, just find me jobs, whatever you have, even if as an extra.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I started and started getting involved in movies and more things, start to getting, practice more English and getting involved in that and do a lot of commercials in Hampton Roads area. And that's it. The rest, one day I went to Cox for an audition for the World Cup for Univision.
Okay.
And I met my executive producer, Will Rodriguez, and the rest is history. I'm
Nice.
here with Living 757. Prior to Living 757, 2 Latino shows
Okay.
on TV, a las 11 por el 11 and aquí at 11. And then we transformed to this amazing show that we have right now.
Living 757 was born out of a show she created.
Yes.
Okay.
11 years ago, I started and I had 5 years that show. And then I was born to be just one host.
Yeah.
And after 5 years, the Latino community was not that big at the time. So I feel the necessity to grow up, to go to the Anglo market. And then we created Aquí at 11, which was kind of half and half, 50-50 Spanglish. And then more companies start reaching out to us. I'm like, okay, now we need to move on. And I told my producer, but we need 2 more hosts. 2, Patricia? Yes. I've been alone for 5 years. So there you go. We have Quincy, Card, and Ashley. They're amazing. We're family now. So, yay.
we were there a few weeks ago on the show. Unfortunately, you guys weren't there. I cried a little.
I know.
But Quincy held it down, to be fair. Shout out to
Yeah.
Quincy. Quincy's my guy. Him and I go way back. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like 20
He's
years
amazing.
back.
He always kills it.
Because when I was at Funny Bone before radio, he would come out there, and then I used to run a night here called Apollo Night. And at first I didn't run it, but then I was kind of like voluntold to run it. And then it ended up working in my favor because it was just the night. Remember Comic View on BET?
Yes.
All right, so that's basically what it was. We'd have a Comic View comic there. The company would book the headliner, and then I'd book all the local talent. Quincy was one of the local talents. So I had a
Yes.
Rolodex of like 20, 30 comics. And this is when Virginia House of Comedy was starting to not be around anymore, unfortunately. And they all needed a new stage to go to. So that's how Quincy and I met.
Yeah.
But it was funny because what does he harp on? Clean comedy, right? So
Yes.
he didn't start that way, to be
No.
clear, but he graduated that way very quickly because he understood there was a niche for that. And he's really good and really, his delivery is on point. He's great at storytelling. And I always give him crap just because I love him because he's my guy.
Yes.
But it's funny. It's not funny. It's actually really good seeing where he came from a night of just local trying to get on stage. Now he's on the TV. He's on TV out here. He can still tour. He can still do his own events because he's one of the only comics that will just go and do his own thing.
Yes.
And
Oh,
he's
yeah.
consistent on it.
He's actually doing performances every month in Davis and Buster, so we're gonna just put
Yep.
it up there, guys. And I met Quincy way before too, and we were just doing we were hosts for a bridal show, something like that.
Yep.
So when I saw the casting video, that I would say I was like, oh my gosh, I know him. I worked with him before, so it was easy to recognize his talent right away.
Yeah.
And we also want to represent, when I have that idea to switch to the Anglo market, I told my producer, I want to represent everybody in Hampton Roads. I'm the Latina. I want to have an American girl. I want to have a Filipino girl, maybe, and also an African American person. So we represent everyone here in Hampton Road. And that's something that we keep it and we love it. And I think all of us combined, we brought different things, from our different culture background. And that's what made this show what it is today.
And to be fair, we are the melting pot, right? This is
Exactly.
Hampton
Yeah.
Roads. Like,
Yeah.
June, you can speak on this ever. So
Yes.
senior chief in Navy retired. I mean, was everybody looking the same in the Navy?
No, absolutely not.
I mean,
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
and then you came here. This is one thing I got to credit to you guys. Actually, we can't relate. I'm Spanish, but I'm Virginia Rican. Unfortunately, I don't speak Spanish.
So, but you born here, right?
I was born in New York. So
Okay.
I was born in New York, Washington Heights, Manhattan. I came down here when I was like almost
But you
3.
have Ruth, Hispanic Ruth.
I do.
From?
Wait, I'm Puerto Rican
Puerto
Dominican.
Rican, okay.
Yeah, so Puerto Rican Mayagüez. I don't know my Dominican side, but they came from Manhattan when I was almost 3, so I can't really say I'm from New York.
Yeah.
We moved off First Colonial Road at the beach. I'm a Virginia Beach guy. This is my hometown for real. I just happen to be born up there. But like with y'all two, English isn't his first language either. I joke him all the time on that because he jokes himself in a joking way. Y'all's brain is like on another level to
I know.
be able to go back and forth in 2 languages
It
that I wish
is.
I had that superpower.
Same.
But like when you came to America, were you speaking a little English already or not? Because you were in Puerto Rico, right?
No, I started in Jersey.
You started in Jersey,
And then
that's
I
right.
went back and forth my entire life.
Okay.
I ended up joining the Navy from Puerto Rico because I graduated high school in Puerto Rico.
Gotcha.
So, which is very different from like Spanish in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Like you go to Spanish class.
Yeah.
And Spanish in Puerto Rico.
Hold on, they had a Spanish clash in Puerto Rico?
Of course, like English. Because
Yeah, but in Puerto Rico, they speak
you
Spanish.
see what I mean? You're taking,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
So Spanish is your main, your elective is English.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay,
Where
that makes sense.
here, it makes
It-
sense.
Yeah, it
now
makes
it's
sense.
just opposite.
Being from
It's
here,
the
you never
opposite
think
here.
It's the
about
opposite.
It's that you
Never would've-
speak
It
English
never
and
would've
you're
crossed my
electable.
mind
It will be
that
Spanish.
we're an elective.
Yes.
Exactly.
I never. Nope.
So
that makes
it's
sense.
different when you grow
Feels
up in
stupid when we say it
Jersey.
out loud.
Ditto.
Where in Jersey you don't need to know English. Not in Patterson.
Really?
No. You could
Same
speak
thing, Miami.
Spanish, You could speak Spanish your whole entire life and never speak English in New Jersey, New York.
And you're straight.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%.
Wow.
Flying to Newark Airport, everything's in Spanish.
That's true.
Yeah.
True.
the way it is.
Yeah.
But where I live in Puerto Rico, that's not the case. Like I live in like the mountains.
Yeah.
Right? Jíbaro. So there's not a lot of English speaking where I live. I don't live nowhere near San Juan. So it's like, let's call it like West Virginia comparison
Got you.
to Virginia Beach.
You're a mountaineer.
I'm like, yeah. I'm a Jíbaro.
I'm like, I'm not going to say what I think when I hear West
Oh,
Virginia.
well, this just to kind of paint the picture, the landscape.
You're a hillbilly.
The
I'm a hillbilly. I'm a Puerto Rican hillbilly. Absolutely. But it was a unique experience when I got here. So I got into Hampton Roads in 1997. Okay, from Puerto Rico. Well, Puerto Rico boot camp.
Right.
Then here. And there was not a lot of Latinos here at all.
No.
There was not. There was very few. I mean, I pretty much knew all the Latinos when I was
It was that easy though.
It was that easy because
Yeah.
it wasn't many. There was maybe one or two restaurants at the most. You had Latin night, Knickerbockers, right?
Yeah.
Like there weren't a lot of different places. You had a club in the oceanfront. Miami was the first one.
Miami.
Right?
General Booth?
Yeah, down there, right? To where it is now.
Yes.
Facts.
Right? Fast forward to 2025. I mean, we're a big population now in
Yeah.
Hampton Roads, the
And it's
Latino
still growing.
community.
Correct.
And it's still growing.
But
Absolutely.
what age for you guys did you realize, all right, I can speak good English? Like that's huge.
I could speak with English to me, like most of my life.
Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna say Spanglish.
Right.
Right. Most of my life, I spoke both. It was just more natural to speak Spanish because my mom still to this day.
Yeah.
She don't really speak. I mean, she speaks English, but it's just easier to communicate
Yep.
in Spanish.
What about you?
For me, it's different because I never went to the school in this country. So to learn English the proper way and, grammar rules and everything, which is a lot, it's kind of hard. You have
Right.
to have even a job or be married with an American person that you can practice every day.
Yeah.
My life is still going on in Spanish every day
Right.
with my whole family, with my kids, with my friends. So the only time that I speak English is like right now or maybe when I'm working. So that makes it super hard,
Yep.
to just to practice and get very rich and very fluent. My accent never is gonna go away. That I know for sure. But I still making mistakes sometimes because I'm missing the base. Even if I'm in this industry, it's very good to have education. It's just it was not my chance to do it that way. But still, I learn. I try to do my best. And like you say, it's so hard. Sometimes everything comes in Spanish, and it's like a little processor that we have right there.
Yeah.
And maybe different topics. If it's a doctor. Terms that I never hear before. It's hard to come up with the right equivalent for a word. So it's different, but I'm here. I'm trying.
One thing
I'm still trying.
one thing we all have in common here,
Yeah.
we all have radio background.
Yes.
Every one of us.
Yep.
I don't have any radio background.
La Selecta.
Yeah, I mean, I
No,
go
no,
on there.
Yes.
That's what
I
I'm
go
saying.
on there.
Have you gone on there more than once?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
See?
exactly.
You have a
You
background.
have a show once a month.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yes, do you have the background?
And who do you go on there with?
Whoever I bring.
No, I'm sorry. Who's the main show host?
And
Mangu.
Mangu.
right?
Yeah,
So-
I love him.
Right. So you
I love
my
him.
man.
and how many years
Yes.
been on the show?
A couple.
Exactly. So case in
Yes.
point, you know how it is to go in the studio. You know how it is to have that conversation.
Absolutely.
So then Ashley, from having her own shows, doing it, same with you, Patricia, same with me. We have that radio background. And then graduating to kind of where we're at in life. Like you can remember when you're in radio and like you hit a peak, like, yo, this is dope. Right?
Yes.
Like I'm killing it. I finally did what I like and I feel like whatever, a rock star or whatever you want to do. But then there was always like, what's next?
Yeah.
In the back of your mind, there always was that, like, what's next? Like, that might be more relatable to the three of us over here. But I remember my what's next, like, all right, do I really want a full-time position to doing this? Because I knew I did. That was my goal, right? I knew I wanted to do that. I love radio to this day. I never not want to do that. But we know in radio, if you can't get it here, you have less than 5 in this market, less than for real 5 chances to get on there. And if you're on, and for some reason you don't make it there, you can't go like down the street and just jump on a radio station. You got to go to a whole nother market.
Yes.
So in my mind, I started thinking, all right, the next 5 years, 10 years, if I was really to go on this and then I wanted to grow, I'd have to move. Do I want to move? Lucky for you, you moved. You actually
did.
you got to experience like another market, right?
Oh, yeah.
But it still brought you back
Yeah.
after some years.
Yeah.
You came back and tried to do it here, but you did it your way.
Yeah.
That's the dope part. Like I remember these conversations we've had, and you remix it to make it make sense for you. But what was that pivotal moment that you're like, you know what? I'm good. I think I can do this myself in the way that I want to make it make sense.
So I was in LA, and I have FOMO. Y'all know what that is. Fear of missing out. So in my head, I was like, I'm not sleeping. I'm terrible at saying no to any function,
Right.
because it could be a connection that means,
Yep.
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Connections are everything. So it's like, it's really easy on a Tuesday or Thursday night to turn down, Crocs at the beach, or,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like a bar
Yeah.
around here. It is not so easy on a Tuesday or Thursday to go, no, I don't think I want to go to Rihanna's birthday party tonight.
I think I would never say no either.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't care how tired you are. You get your butt out of bed, you put on your fake lashes and your heels, and you go.
Yep.
Facts.
Yes.
So basically, my lack of the ability to say no
Yeah.
was what kind of brought me back. And I did almost everything like that I ever dreamed of doing.
Right.
I partied at the Playboy Mansion. I spent Easter with Hugh Hefner. Ray J showed up at Thanksgiving once. I was hanging out with Post Malone before people knew who Post Malone was. I planned his White Iverson video release party. His
Snoop
first
Dogg.
Grammy Awards, I was with Post and Justin Bieber at Diplo's house at 4 a.m. and they were singing me happy birthday. Like, at that point, I was like, you know what? I feel like I can say I've done everything I wanted to do here.
Right.
I've made my mark here. Now I know I can do it. And now I want something fulfilling, like longevity and fulfilling. And I knew that even though I loved the parties, I also loved like my couch and sweatpants and just chilling.
Yep.
Making the move back home was the right move for me.
You experienced a lot of peaks, a lot of,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And the thing is too, I mean, same with you, Patricia, like you experienced some peaks and then you decided to go to the next one. That's one thing that about everybody in this
Yes.
room. Once you hit that goal, it's like, what's next?
Yes,
Right?
because
Yeah.
I think you never stop. It's like when you have a degree on something, then it comes, okay, now I have to work on it.
Yeah.
I have the education on this, but you have to get better on the other side. And I never thought that I'm going to end up in this kind of business, but then it was just not TV. It was more than that. It was what's behind the scenes and what is the need for the community.
Yeah.
So I was trying to, whatever comes like a dream or just then a different thought for me, then I was like, okay, I can be a voice for the people that they don't have a voice, especially for the Latino community. When we moved here, we don't know where to find so many resources that maybe they don't know where to start. So I started getting focused on that on my show, and I started inviting people that I can help somehow the community. So then you start transforming your ideas and you keep working. You never stop. You're always
Right.
thinking, what is next? And what I can do. So it's just not about me being TV. No, it's also what you can
Right.
offer as a
Right.
human being and help others.
I mean, let's be real. The show that you guys have is community driven.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So in
100%.
theory, this is a way that you're giving back with the number one asset that we have is your time. Right? So majority of the time, when we do that and we give back in some way, shape, or form, the good karma comes back in other ways.
yeah.
Not just
Exactly.
by financial compensation. There's 1,000 other ways you're going to get paid back with good karma, right? And if
Yes.
you sit there for a few minutes and think about it, it's like, you know what? You're right. Can we attach it to just the show? No. But in theory, if you're leading good every day, it's going to come back in some way, shape, or form. We're not perfect. Stuff happens,
Exactly.
right?
And
Right.
But you
you're
guys
always
are
learning.
you guys are more in the community than the average person. So because you're in the know, right? You're
Yeah.
in the know. You're still in the room. I always say,
yeah.
get in the room. Get in the room is the most important
Yeah.
part. Like you said, Riri, I'm gonna go. Crocs, I'll see you next week. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like that's
Exactly.
what it is. But there's certain rooms you just kind of can't say no to.
Yeah.
But tell me a room recently. Give me an example of a room that you've been into recently. Let's say this year that if you missed it, it would have been a big miss for like an event or a situationship or a meeting or anything along those lines. And if it's not this year, just think of one recently within the past year or two, post-COVID, all right?
Oh,
Post-COVID, that would have affected you negatively if you didn't show up, because showing up's half the battle. And I'll lead with one while you're thinking, because
Okay.
there's this guy right here, June. All right, so I'll give this guy some credit. By the way, I mess with Edgar most of the time is here. They're very comparable because they both have bald heads and they're Spanish, right? But I can't joke with you like I joke with Edgar because
He looks like a pit bull.
That's exactly what I was about to say, actually.
And you dress like him too.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, hotel.
Armando Pitbull, he dressed like you too.
Can't say something that funny when I just took a sip of coffee because I almost gave all y'all back.
I mean, that's literally Mr. 757, not 305. So June hit me a minute ago. I mean, this is some years ago now. And I've known Edwin for a while. We have a lot of mutual friends in the area, whatever, but he's been in real estate for a lot longer than I have. Yeah. But at the time, he hit me because him and the other guys had a plan for what they were doing with Iron Valley, right? So where I was at previously, I love it. The good news is that where I was at previously, now they're with us. So it's like full circle moment, right? I love how it all works out. And I always loved them. Like, that's the game that I got into. But it's like, I'll just say it. When you're number one at something and consistent every time, it's cool, it's dope, but that's not the goal. The goal is to continue to grow, right? Now, it's dope when you can get there. All right, now what's next, right? The next goal. My next goal was, how can I grow and scale in this game that I now know that I don't have imposter syndrome anymore?
Yeah.
And then this guy over here, ironically, contacts me right around the time mentally where I'm having these conversations. It didn't happen overnight. I mean, this happened over weeks and months of planning, talking, convincing, persistence, follow-up, and getting me out of my comfort zone mentally.
Yeah.
Fast forward to today, 365 agents, 7 locations. We're scaling, other ancillaries, but he was the catalyst in that. So if I decided not to answer that call and show up to those phone calls or that meeting or whatever, at least that first one, it wouldn't have started the thought process for me to potentially make a move, right? So then like now with that, dope. To be fair, no shade, I was looking at other options too, but it wasn't necessarily the brand affiliation. It's who I was with. That energy right there is the most contagious because you can relate. You've been around people that is like, yo, that shit is bad energy, yo. Yeah. And then you left that situationship and now it's, wow, it just magically got better.
Everything got better.
Right. You know what I'm saying? It happens like that. So then now the energy was matching where I knew my goals and my vision were going to go. Yeah. Boom. Now we're here. Now it's just like, let's fucking go. We're just continuously going and figuring it out as we do it. But it's because that's just what we do. It's around like-minded people. So like in that scenario, I know if I missed that meeting or if I just decided to ghost June, I would be fine still, but I wouldn't have gone where I told myself I wanted to go.
So I have one, and it was actually before COVID.
Okay.
So like she was saying, her and Quincy were the first two.
Yeah.
And they had somebody else that was going to host. But she wasn't from here. She didn't live here. They were going to have to fly her down weekly to film.
Oh, it's a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. And I kind of felt like the TV part of my life was over. I had kind of accepted that when I came back to this area, that I was just going to get like more of a boring job. I was going to lay low. And one person tagged me in Will Rodriguez's post, the executive producer, who's still our EP. He's great. And I ignored the tag. I was like, no, that part of my life's over. And then another friend tagged me on the same post a second time. Right. So I went, you know what? Screw it. Whatever. So I sent him an email. I sent him a reel of some of the stuff I did within Hollywood TV when I was living in LA. And I'm like, all of this isn't new, but here's like, you know, a reel of a bunch of stuff I've done. And here's my social media. And he was like, can you come in to test tomorrow?
Yes.
And I was like, why, yes, I can. So I emailed him on a
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
To test with me.
We tested on a Thursday, and he called me on Friday asking if I wanted to join, like, and be part of the family. And I was like, yeah, I would.
That's dope.
That's cool.
Yes.
That's cool.
So it wasn't necessarily a room. It was a post that the second time I was nudged, I replied to.
But that post got you into a room, and you had to make that choice because you said, "Nah, I'm good" the first time, but it's like, you know what? Let me just go check this out. Yeah. So within 72 hours of saying yes, that happened, right?
Right. I mean, it completely changed my life. These people, like, we say "I love you" after when we're leaving work.
Yep.
I remember when Will Rodriguez told me, tomorrow, I think we find some, because there was a challenge with Nanette. She couldn't be here. And when they said about Ashley, I was great, she's coming. When she's coming? Tomorrow. Okay, awesome. Yeah. I remember the day you walk into the studio, she was like,
I remember too, because...
And I'm so friendly, like, hey, so happy to see you. I was so excited, finally, that I was going to have them.
And I remember that day because they were still filming a key, which was... Spanish and English.
Aquí at 11.
And I remember looking at Will several times going, I don't speak Spanish. Spanish.
And I was like, it's fine. It's Spanglish. With you, it's going to be
Yeah.
most of it in English.
Yeah.
It was
That was
amazing.
so much fun.
Yeah.
It's wild to like look at how we've changed.
Yeah. I mean, that's good though. You made a choice and you rock and roll with it. And within those past,
Yes.
and since then, you got a boo, you got some babies.
So Keith came before
Okay.
Living 757, and then the babies came
During
right
Living
after we
757,
started.
because when we
Yes.
met you were have no babies.
I know.
Yeah, she
She lied.
The two kids.
I
No, she had the two
It
kids
came
in
out
those 5
now,
years.
right? On your Peak Life podcast. No,
I didn't lie. I didn't know.
So it was
real
funny
truth.
because right after we do the transition to living 757,
Oh, yeah,
I
we'd
think
been filming for
we
like
just filmed for
3
3
weeks.
months, and then COVID hit. So we survived basically 2 years filming from home virtually,
I remember
which is
that,
super
yeah.
hard. And then it was like we connect for 3 months, and then voila, we have to go to be in our homes.
Yeah.
So the connection was not the same, but I was still trying to fulfill and working for the same show, even from home, because COVID was tough.
You know what? You just brought something really good up, because the two industries that got, in my personal opinion, the two industries that got hit the hardest during COVID, entertainment and hospitality.
Yes.
That
Oh,
literally
gosh,
went
yeah.
to
Yes.
nothing overnight,
Yes,
right?
you went
Yep.
from here to zero
To
because
nothing.
it was nothing to do. For me, that I'm a freelancer and I'm always working in this industry, it was tough
Yeah.
because everything that I was doing, it was bad. And then you get pregnant during COVID right away on January.
Yeah,
the
right
same year.
before COVID was when I found out I was
Yeah.
pregnant with Adrian.
And then after that, when COVID was in the, let's say after December, everybody was so freaked out to go outside. So I started going by myself with my camera and a microphone and just look around who was open for delivery. So I started highlighting those businesses, at least for delivery, because everything, the
Yeah.
rule was changed at the time. So I think it was 6 months into COVID, and I started doing that. And one time I went with Quincy. So then businesses started reaching out to me through social media, because I just went alone with my camera, so nobody is around me. The 6 feet apart, it was in the game. So I was like, okay, these people are open, just help, local businesses. And they started contacting me everywhere.
That's
to
good.
do that. Yeah.
See, but that's a pivot. That was actually where I was going to get at. Like during COVID, the one thing that it gave people in those industry that we can look back now and say was time.
Yeah.
It gave us time to think.
Yes.
Gave us time to pivot. And some people didn't use any of that, and they just chilled and then just went back to doing what they're doing. Specifically for me, that was the most pivotal time in my life because I utilized the time to my advantage.
Yep.
I can say that now. In real time, I'm figuring it out, right? But I
Yeah.
guess I figured it out in a way that made sense. But it sounds like you figured something out in a niche that people were really scared to do, to be fair, 'cause
Yes.
based on all the rules and everything. So then you had to do that for a while. And then when doors opened back up, was it easier for you to get more business?
Yes, it was,
Oh, yeah.
because I was
Okay.
already on this, let's say I was already there for those businesses that are still open. So little by little, people start opening with the more regulations. So I was trying to highlight those regulations so people are not afraid to go out.
Right.
People was, I would say 1 year already into COVID.
Yeah.
And things start changing little by little, but still, it took us 2 years.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So you had to reinvent yourself. And yes, we have to follow regulation. You have to follow, how to say, safety
Yeah.
at that time. But at the same time, it was so long. It was so long the timing that people was getting affected financially.
course,
So you
yeah.
have to help the local businesses too. So I think for me, when that transition moved, it was easy for me. People call me and say like, "Hey, can you come here and do the video?" And I was everywhere.
You said some words, reinventing yourself. How do you feel that
Yes.
part reinvented you?
And I think a lot of people, and that's why COVID changed the game, and people now work from home. And then after COVID, it was so hard to have employees again
Yeah.
for any business, restaurants, Walmart, for whatever every business. They was so tough because you reinvent yourself to have 2 years to work in your house, to work in yourself, to just do something from online. People was doing videos, cooking videos from home because you have to reinvent yourself. You have 2 years,
Yeah.
which is a long time. And that's why I will say that after COVID changed everything in the industry. And I think a lot of people like me, you have to either, like you say, you just stay home and use your time for yourself, or you just reinvent yourself and you just choose something else to do.
Yep.
For me, I'm living alone, so I just buy my microphones, everything, and I was alone. I've just become my producer, my cameraman, everything in
Yeah.
one. And I just was going to every single place that they're trying to come up to the light after
Yeah.
COVID.
That is
and
a good point too.
And I just help them.
that during COVID, we learned to produce ourselves.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like,
You had no choice, right?
right.
Exactly.
Where
Yeah.
we were normally taking like a full crew out, audio, director, producer, two camera ops. We would go out just us two with our cell phones and mics and a gimbal and film entire packages.
Yes.
And I feel like that has been helpful for
Yeah.
the show in general because we can get really cool, creative, different content that wouldn't necessarily happen if we were only filming in studio.
Right, yeah.
And at the same time, we have interviews with the owners for the different businesses, and we just follow the precautions at that time. We show everything that they will follow instructions so that you will be safe,
Yeah.
you know, if you start coming out, because people was kind of afraid. And there was a lot of missing information at that time. So it was hard. And then I created another show, Living Healthy, which was very popular on my ending with Cox as well. And it was to help the community to understand how we can live healthy even during COVID and after COVID. So that show was very successful on my ending too.
So we all know, like in TV and in radio, there's no shows without sponsors, right?
Yes.
We all know that in theory. Post-COVID, was there any, actually let me go backwards. You want to give any shout outs to sponsors that like stuck through it with you and they're like just rocking and rolling, or even some that have just never thought about it. Now they're killing it and they're rocking with you, because you know there's some of them, right? And sometimes there's none. Because the number one thing that goes away when something like that happens is what? Marketing. That usually is the number
Do
one
you
thing
know
they
what's
cut.
crazy
What?
though? I remember during COVID, and we were on one of our writers' room meetings, and they're like, "We don't know how this is happening, but like we keep getting more and more sponsors," which was crazy because we were filming from home,
Yeah.
so we were little boxes on a TV. And then when we did start going back out with a full crew, you know, 2 film-sponsored segments, we were wearing masks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, it's insane to look back, but like McDonald Garden Center
Yes.
has been there.
Huffman and Huffman, brothers
Huffman
and
and
Lowe,
Huffman
they've
have
been
been
with
there
us
for
since day one.
years.
And I would say because we find a way to sustain ourselves during those 2 years of COVID
Yeah.
with local things, with local content.
Yeah.
So that's what I make the show, to keep balance and to keep sponsors as well. Because we didn't just come with video clips or things like that. We still having local artists. Living 757 is the only show that I close every single week with a local artist for 5 years,
Yeah.
which is very tough. And we always have music on the show. Local artists for us, for me, it's a huge platform that I always want to help them to, to promote themselves. And it's something that we've been doing since day one.
Wow. Yep.
Even during COVID. Say, okay, send you your video. They recording on their
yeah.
homes.
We were
on
we
the
were
on
like-
the patio. Or, it was
Yeah.
amazing how
Yeah.
artists just made that
That's
happen
huge.
too. It is.
I love
It
that.
is. Yes.
June, with his nickname is June, by the way. Sorry,
Pitbull.
I'm
I
not
thought,
talking
I
about
thought it was Pitbull for a minute.
Edwin, June, Pitbull, ankles out. He has many. He has
I got-
many.
I got
Thanks
many
to all of
names.
the above.
Yeah, I got many names.
What was a good moment for you, bro? Well,
I always say it, man. When I met Mike Little,
yeah,
so I'm the oldest from the ownership group.
Okay.
So my perspective when I came into real estate
he's
was
75, by the way.
when you
No.
I'm 46.
I'm the other one here.
Yeah. I perceived a real estate professional as someone with a suit, a briefcase, because of my age, right?
Right.
And that's just, I have 2 sleeves, but I wear long sleeves a lot. There could be people that don't even know I have tattoos.
Yeah.
It's just because of my age, right? And the perception of professionalism.
Yep.
So when I met Mike Little, I met him. He's a very successful realtor. I never met him in person. But when I met him, he's in a hoodie, big baggy jeans, sneakers. And I'm like, I'm intrigued
Right.
because
Yeah.
it's not what I perceived as professionalism.
Yeah.
So that meeting really opened my eyes. I've already been in the real estate industry for 18 years at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it just opened my eyes, and I came over to Iron Valley as an agent, and what I seen was just I always try to explain it. It's like I walked into Wall Street.
Yeah.
And all the information is like flowing. There's people writing stuff on the boards.
Right.
And I'm like, what is this? You got, people selling houses
Yeah.
in flip-flops. Which Julian's partner, I always say it, he sells 100 houses a year in flip-flops.
Literally.
Yeah, the only difference is in the winter he wears socks with his flip-flops,
Shout out
right?
to LJ, yeah.
Wait a
Shout out
minute,
to
flip-flops
LJ.
or slides?
No, flops.
Flip-flop.
Flip-flop.
Toe thong.
Sandals?
In between your
Completely.
toes.
Yes.
Stop it.
The toe thogs.
Oh,
Oh my
no.
God.
Yes.
What's his name?
LJ Hunt. He's a beast.
Okay, LJ, we're gonna have to up your fashion game.
Yeah.
Hey,
He don't
is-
care, yo. He just bought clothes for the first time in 3 years yesterday.
Yeah,
Stop.
I've seen him in shoes one time. No.
Oh my
Because
God.
he had to wear
But
it.
if you think about it, that changed through the years too. Because
Yep.
before you see the priest, when someone in the church, that they'll have to be also representing, like you just say, the business idea of the church idea. Now you can see them in jeans,
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
that's the mean that you're not professional. That just because the way it's like how do you say that in English? Cuando tú juzgas al libro por su cover, ¿cómo se dice
Yeah,
that?
it's
Judge the book.
stereotype.
Exactly.
Stereotype.
So I think that through the years it's been changing on every single
Yeah. Yeah.
aspect. Yeah.
And that was my transition of, well, you don't really have, your professional is not defined by how you dress.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's by the actions, right? And
Yes.
that's that was the biggest pivot,
Yeah.
I would say, in my real estate career.
Okay.
And previous to real estate, I was in the Navy for 23 years. So I wore a uniform every day.
Oh,
it
so
was
you were
kinda-
very like structured.
Exactly.
Yes.
So he come
Yes.
with that structured life. So it has to
Okay.
be a business to represent real estate.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, so in my off time, I like to psychoanalyze people and situations and things. And here is a parallel. It's kind of crazy, right? So you're talking about showing up authentically, right?
Yep.
In both real estate and in marketing, advertising, there's something to be said for showing up authentically. Showing up in your flip-flops and your socks makes people trust you because they know you're being yourself around them.
Boom.
And I feel like selling homes and selling advertising, it's kind of the same. Nobody wants to rock with you if they can't trust you.
That's true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
so
great. That's
It
very true.
is.
I mean, getting that no, like, and trust factor in any position
Yep.
that's considered sales is one of the hardest things to get. And
Yeah.
when you can relate with an individual
Yeah.
strictly based on looks alone in the first 5 seconds, oh, he's not trying to sell me nothing. She's not trying to sell me something. Because at the end of the day, that title of sales is trash. I
Right.
hate when you're trying to do that because you're always trying to solve a problem.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
really all sales is.
Yeah.
That position was created because there was a problem and we have a solution. Does it cost you something? Yes.
Yes.
But will it help you? Yes. This is the plan.
1000%.
That's
Yeah.
really what it is. It's just now, can you convey the message over there?
Yep.
And just don't be a snake, man. That's the main thing. The snakes and these bad apples is what makes a lot of those industries look like trash. And
Yep.
it's funny you said that. 2 of the top 10 most hated fields in the country. Can you guess what it is?
Sales.
both of ours.
Well, not just
Market-
sales, but
okay.
specifically in sales. Take a guess. You said it already.
Marketing.
Marketing. No.
Advertising.
Realtors
And
and ad sales.
Okay.
Yep.
Number one's used car
Yes.
salesman, right? But that's
Right.
and I'm talking not the dope people priorities and stuff that are
Yeah.
official. I'm talking about the ones that make it look bad, right?
Yeah.
Like the ones from Matilda.
Yeah, boom, exactly. That's a good comparison.
Yeah.
Who was that joke? That wasn't Pesci. That was Danny DeVito.
Yes.
Yes, like him,
Yep.
exactly. So you don't look like him, by the way. I just want to put that out there.
No, you don't.
No, not even close. I'm here to help. So
They always have jokes for me.
I see
I mean, he
that.
at least
Right?
They're
'Cause
that.
I'm bold and beautiful. They're hating
That's
on me.
why.
It's
That's
what
why.
it is.
he has good fashion, to be fair. But it is one thing to also read the room, right? I mean, there's outfits for certain occasions.
Yep.
right?
Yes.
We all have our suits. We all have our dresses. Y'all got your heels. Y'all got it. Read the room, right?
Exactly.
But the room doesn't have to be dressed 100% to the T all the time. Like I said, I go to listing appointments and buyer consultations like this a lot. I look good. This is just me because I know you're going to relate to me more. I went to a really good one yesterday with an older couple in their 70s. I've already worked with them before. I showed the only difference from this outfit is that it was a polo. That was it. Still have my sneakers on.
Love a good polo.
But it's because I already had that know, like, and trust factor. If I'm gonna meet a sailor that's buying their first house, that's in their 20s, the hell I'm gonna show up trying to look like I'm $1 million? I don't need to
Yeah.
do that because that's a turn off.
I think this is a
Right.
misconception too, because that was more in the past. You have to you present yourself, but maybe when the part that you need to fulfill is not there.
Yeah.
So you don't want to pretend to do something, even in sales. And you know what I found, for the Latino community, if they don't have anybody that speaks Spanish, they don't feel safe.
Agreed.
And I understand why. Language barrier is a huge thing.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And when I start the show, I never think that I'm going to have, who's going to sell the show? And Cox doesn't have anybody that speaks Spanish back in the time in sales. So I have to learn how to cover that part as well. And that's when I find out most of the businesses, local businesses here in Hampton Roads, they say no just because the person that approached them, it was an American person,
Right.
but it was nothing wrong with that person.
Yeah.
It's just because, and they don't say that like, maybe you have anybody that speaks Spanish that I can come. They are so afraid to even say that
Yeah.
for that reason it was a turn off a business, or they don't do business just because of that.
Yeah.
And language barriers can be one of the things in the Spanish community. And then they feel comfortable when you can explain this, especially when it's numbers, money, investing,
Yeah.
time, air, that they have no education to know
technical
exactly.
terms.
Yeah.
Technical terms.
Production
definitely.
work. So it's a lot for them to process and spend. So yeah, it's
There's a huge plus because obviously
Yeah.
he's fluent Spanish. Edgar's
Yeah.
fluent Spanish. That is a huge
Yeah.
thing, and I haven't utilized them if I need to. But when I need to, I know who I'm calling. 'Cause,
Right.
like
Exactly.
realistic is like, all right, check this out. Let's just say you only speak Spanish, right?
Yeah.
I don't, but I have your best interest in mind because legally I have to. Whether I
Exactly.
wanted to, I do. You need to talk to him because
Exactly.
he's gonna make sure that he can explain it to you a way that's gonna make sense. Whether you go left or right, you
Yeah.
have to have that. And we're in the biggest melting pot. I mean, yes, Latino is probably the number. Spanish is the number one language that's probably outside of English in this area, but you got Tagalog. You have you have so many other languages down here is what I'm trying to say, especially when people were in that time, they're coming here to do temp work for the next 90 to 120 days at the beach, and they're just here for a little bit of time. They don't feel comfortable doing that. I mean, I've seen this because I'm just being down there and working in the industry I'm in. I can see the relatability is key in this area.
Yes.
But even with your show, when you guys are on there, you guys have to connect with an audience by looking through a lens. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you don't even get to be in front of them, right? You
know.
don't have a live studio audience. You got to figure out on how to do that. And it can be someone's grandma watching. It could be a 5-year-old
Yeah.
watching. It could be anybody.
Yes.
What do you guys do to just be consistently connecting with your audience while just looking through a lens?
I think it's just showing up, being ourselves.
yes.
We're not afraid to kind of joke on ourselves, joke on each other. We do a lot of silly things. We try to do things that will be engaging for the audience, but while also helping any of the businesses or charities or whoever we're talking to, making sure the audience gets their information, but also is engaged with it.
Yeah.
And we have writers' room meetings every week to talk about concepts for segments. Like we had a pest control company, and instead of just doing an interview, we did roach races.
Yes.
What?
Yes. Because the thing is,
No
with our show
way.
is we
Yeah.
try to put the information up there in a funny way, but
Yeah.
also in a respectful way, and just deliver the right information for every client that comes, so charity or anybody that comes to us.
Yep.
And and by the way, I went the 2 roach
She
races,
won roach races twice.
both of them twice.
So I need to know
So
more
we put the-
information. After we're done,
Okay.
I need more information
I
on
can
this.
teach
Okay.
you.
Like,
I
were
mean,
there side bets on the roaches? I mean,
We
what
have
is
lives.
going
So
on?
each
We
of
have
our
one roach
faces
for
were
each
at
coast.
the end of like a little makeshift track that they made. And there was a Patricia roach and a Quincy roach and an Ashley roach.
and they were in a cup.
And then they gave
holding
us
them.
straws and they wanted us to like blow at them.
So,
to try
and
to
we,
get them
we
to
made them
move.
walk to the finish line.
That's creative. That's creative.
Yeah.
I have to
Yes.
see this.
Oh my God, I'm
All the
gonna
segments
send
are
you the
on
link.
YouTube.
I gotta see this.
That's creative, though. That's
So,
creative marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's what we try to do for each and
For each
every
client.
segment.
Yeah.
We try
That's smart.
we try our hardest not to just sit and talk.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's boring. If you
yes.
think about it, it's
It is.
Yeah.
And it's kind of what separates us from anything else in this market.
especially when you're talking about topics that aren't typically like an attractive topic to sit down and talk about.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can do a
Yes.
5-minute segment on anything, but when
Yeah.
you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Some-
we can
some
deliver
topics are better
the
than
first
not.
2 minutes, talk about your background information and your company.
Yeah.
But then last week, we have some money, like $1 million, Quincy and myself, and it was about buying houses. I was a VDH, sorry, I'm throwing. And,
you?
but we put an example, so for the viewers, very clear, okay, I have $1 million, and we have different houses, but I have to see if I can if I learn the tips that the person in the interview just gave us. So, okay, I got a house for 400K, or just I got, and then what is left over. So that way you teach the audience also how to manage the money.
Right.
For sure.
And
It's
in
kind
a
of
good
like
way.
the game of life.
Yes.
Where you have to pick, like, I want to start a career now or I want to go to college.
Yeah.
If you go to college, you have more career opportunities. I'm not saying that's necessarily
Exactly.
the case in real life. I fully believe you don't have to go to college to
Me
do
too.
really well
Yeah.
in life. That was a cool segment too.
Yeah, and it goes like together, the information that he teaches delivery plus the action that, okay, let me see if I pay attention to what he says.
Right.
So,
I mean, the hook, the value, the
There you
contact
go.
information. I mean,
Yes.
you provided the value by doing it in a creative
Yes.
way, and I'm sure that they got the message delivered. How did you recruit the Roaches? Did you find like the fastest one on the ground, or
we
like which
bought
one you
them.
recruited?
No.
Yeah, one of our PAs went to a pet store
and they got it.
and they bought Madagascar hissing
They were
cockroaches.
humongous,
They
like
were
these.
like this big.
Oh,
they
wow.
No.
were huge.
And you
Yes.
went that close?
Yes, and then we had to
No.
upload them.
way.
And I hate those.
So the first one.
I need my straw to be that long.
And they
so, like,
Right.
climb
exactly.
the cup, because we're
So
holding there until
Quincy
say
goes
3,
like
2,
this
1, boom.
and shoves his roach, and I think he gave it a concussion. So he
Yeah.
tried to cheat, and the roach ended up like
dying.
and then ran backwards.
Yeah, start running backwards. That was good.
Who won that, by the way?
She did.
I did twice.
Twice.
She did twice.
That's what you're saying. Twice.
I like it.
I'm like, my roach always get there.
That is funny.
Yes. Because you have
Yeah.
to blow it in a way that she still keep walking. If not,
Yeah.
she stop. And yes,
You
this
added that to
structure.
your resume.
Yeah, of
Roach,
course.
roach blower.
Yes.
2-time champion.
Two-time champion.
You know what? We should do a tournament. No? I'm thinking about that. Because
Charity
Tournament.
tournament.
Oh my
A
god.
roach blowing tournament.
Nobody creates
Look
that,
at the
guys.
marketing.
Today on Living
Come up with
757.
something genius. Oh my
Oh,
god.
Oh man, that would be a
Oh,
tease.
I can teach people how to do that. Yes, for sure.
We're going to have a class.
Living 757
Oh,
after
man.
dark.
Oh
where
my god.
Patricia
Yeah, that would be
teaches
after
you how
dark.
to blow
Patricia teach.
roaches.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna send you the link.
So then the next segment is like a group of termites, right? Let's, on a wood table, how fast can my group eat through this? Stay
my
tuned.
God.
The next episode, and then you're gonna anyways.
yeah.
There's 1,000 scenarios, but that creative marketing, getting
Yes.
into a way that you can engage and relate with the audience is clutch. We're talking about that not just by physical
Yeah.
appearance, but delivering messages, right?
Yes. Yeah.
While looking into a glass lens. While you're doing that and thinking of, the next year or 2 or 3, 11757 isn't going anywhere. You guys are like, I feel like every month is a new peak, and you guys are getting that. So like, what's next on the horizon for you guys with the show?
We are really looking to do a lot more community partnerships.
More than you're doing now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
we-
dope. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're doing a lot, but we try to be in every single city. The 7 cities that Hampton Roads would represent, and it's still a lot of work to do
Yeah.
for the community, I think. So
There is, but I think there has been some stigma around the community in the past several years, and we would like to help be of assistance in breaking that stigma. We've had the Iverson Classic on. Love those guys. I was born and raised here in the 757, so it's important to me for the people who are from here to come back and give back.
Yep.
And let kids see that, like, that bully at school or, that C on a test, it's not the end of the world.
Facts.
We had Push and Family and
Yes.
Antonio come in for the second year for Cousins Festival.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really excited to be out there this year. Last year I was out of town. It was already planned. But really excited to be out there, support those guys. I love what they're doing.
yes.
We'll be at Point Break.
So many things, and I think the challenge here is also to listen our sponsor, and not just that, also the community events, and try to be a voice and do something that is helpful at the end. It's not just to have fun, or just to be in TV. It's more than that for
Right.
us, for the three of us. It's always giving back to the community in any way that we can. I think also local artists for me is a huge platform that we create, and I love that.
Yeah.
That we are the only show. Yes, and I see people that they just come to my show. Let's say a key at 11 or at 11, they never have the opportunity to present themselves or just to sing a song, and then now I see them doing. Concerts and going to different countries. It's like, oh my God. And she's still saying, like a Rosa, She's from Newport News. She's going everywhere. She went to my country to sing. I was like, wow.
That's
And
cool.
she came to my country, to my show, and I'm the first one that I did like the patadita de la suerte. How do you say that in English? The good luck kick. Like, I don't know how to translate that, but it's something that we say in Spanish,
Yeah.
la patadita de la suerte.
It's
And
like break
she-
a leg.
Yeah, something.
gotcha.
Okay.
That's where the term came from. Like
Yes.
break a leg.
Got it.
Wishing you luck.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was the first time for her, and she's doing amazing. So you never know how far something
Yeah.
like that,
Right.
just to have a platform from you, especially in Virginia, it's a lot of talent.
Yeah,
A lot.
there is.
So much.
Yes.
And I think the show also reflects the three of us and our content as well.
Yep.
We make sure that we have all different kinds of music and all different walks of life. We make sure that we highlight every factor of the community and
Good.
not just one.
Yeah.
I mean, the older we get, I mean, we know this when we're younger, but when we're younger, we think we're Superman.
not getting
Superwomen.
old. What
We're
did you just say?
Let me
We're
rephrase
getting
that.
better.
The wiser
Of
we
course.
get, the wiser we get. Okay.
I like that.
It's more of a, what can we do back to ensure that the next generation has a leg up?
Yeah.
And to be
Yep.
fair, our parents did it in some way, shape, or form. Whether you're not from here or not, whether you came here but you still had roots in other places, whether you came and left. Like a lot of celebrities, they usually leave because you got to do it to get big. But majority they all come back in some way, shape, or form.
Yes.
It's like, how can we give back to just make sure that the next 10 years is going to be super dope, next 20 years is going to be super dope, and you guys are doing that at a high level. Regardless how local that you guys decide to stay, it's making a difference.
It
And that's
is.
the good part about doing what you guys are doing. Even us and what we're doing here just with real estate, it makes a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm out here doing a party for somebody, to be fair, I've done a lot of clubs in my life, but as of the past 5 to 10 years, it's been more on the private side,
Yeah.
focusing on the corporate events, on the weddings, on the city related events. Those are memories. Those are core memories that most people will remember. With
Yeah.
us, it's an everyday thing. It's not that we don't remember it, but you
Yes.
just never know when somebody's going to come up to you and be like, hey, I saw you 2-3 years ago and this was really cool. I really think you should do it. And you're going to be like, great. And then you don't remember it because we do so much.
Yes.
But then we also have to sit back and remember, we got to stop and smell the roses and realize we are changing lives
Yeah.
and or making core memories that can affect somebody in a positive way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think we have a lot of those. I have people that still send me messages. I follow you since you have the first show.
Yeah.
And I always reply to every single person
Yeah.
in my social media. Thank you for your support, everyone. Yes, I try so hard.
I don't do that.
I do.
You didn't hit me up the other day when I did.
Oh my
I'm sorry.
But no, for the people like I know this, followers because who are your friends,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
people from the business, from the industry. But people that just say, "Oh, I love what you do." Just the other day say, "I saw you on." I think Home Depot. You were walking in front of me. I want to say hi. You go, you should say hi to me next time.
Yeah.
Just a positive message right there. Things like that. Oh, one time, this was horrible. A wife saw me passing by, and her husband. They also watched the show in Spanish, and I was doing my pedicure, and they saw me through the window. So she came inside. She's like, excuse me, I saw you, Patricia. My husband. He's so amazing that he saw you there. I go, can he get a picture with you? And I was doing my pedicure.
With your toes out like this?
Like this. I'm like, yeah, sure. I mean, but it's amazing that those things happen. And it was the wifey coming to me, say
Yeah.
my husband want a picture with
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I'm like, as long as you don't put my toes on the picture.
That's fine.
But it was funny, and it was
I don't know. That could be kind of lucrative.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the thing.
But yeah, and you love that from the people that are in the area. When people follow you for so many years, I really appreciate that.
I thought you were gonna go a different way with that. This is so horrible. I'm like, what'd the wife do? That was fine.
I
That's-
know. I'm over here like, oh god.
oh gosh, no, that was fine. That's cool.
I mean, things happen, but I know that was a cool one. It's just that I wasn't doing my pedicure.
Yeah,
It was a horrible situation for me. Like, I was not expecting no makeup. My hair was
Yeah.
but still,
Have you ever had somebody recognize you and you look so crazy that you're like, oh
Yes.
no, I get that a lot.
In Miami, believe it or
Yes.
not,
Yeah.
I was in the shopping center and it was a girl, 12 years old girl. Somehow they watched the show online, and I was walking with my sister and my mom in flip-flops, no makeup. I think it was on a t-shirt.
She's never in flats.
And never in flats, exactly. So imagine how was that moment. And she's like, oh my gosh, she's from a Kia 11. And I was like, did I hear a Kia 11 in the shopping center? And then I would just keep walking, and she came and then like, can I have a picture with you? And I was in my picture, I was trying to hide, to put me sideways like this. It was, I mean, it was crazy, but I gave her the picture,
Yes,
of course.
yes.
Her and her mom. And I don't even ask them if they live in Hampton Road before, but somehow they watch the show in YouTube through a friend that they have in Newport News. So imagine that. And the girl, she was 12 years old. She was beautiful girl, but I was flip-flops, no makeup.
You're better
and
than
she
I
kept
am.
that photo.
I straight up lie. I'm like, oh yeah, I get that a lot.
I mean,
That's not me.
I hear she's cool.
one time I did that in Home Depot. A guy's like, are you the girl from the TV? I go, no, it's my sister. And I put my cup like this. And I keep walking.
Yeah.
You know, things like that. But I just have fun.
That's funny.
I mean,
People only recognize me when I'm like looking homeless. I swear. Like for some reason, like no makeup, forgot a bra, like looking crazy. And they're like, Ashley? Nope.
I did that just one time. And I said, the guy was asking me directly and said, no, I think it's my sister. She looks like me. And
She's
I
got
keep
a heart of
walking.
gold. I
mean,
That's funny.
but it is funny. I don't know. It's sometimes this happen, but you cannot say no
You can't.
to the viewers.
You can't
know?
say. No, I mean, you can politely say it in a different way, just not the no word. But
I mean,
but at the end of the day, that you just never know how far your reach is going, right?
Exactly. Right.
So it's just one of those things, man. You don't have to be an A+ celebrity like Bieber or whatever to make somebody's day by taking a picture, because at the end of the day, they feel that's unattainable, and they see somebody in the industry that they watch and or look up to and or see in many different ways. That's a dope moment for them, you know.
Yeah.
And
exactly,
you're making
and that's
their
a
day.
very good point right there, because it's not like we are there's huge celebrities. It's just for them because they follow you and they see you. When they see you in some place,
Correct.
they just get so excited, and you never know what's the reason behind. You know, I mean,
You never
have
know
to
the
be-
story.
Yeah, they
Well,
never know
I
the
feel
story.
like you guys are celebrities.
They are. They
Oh,
are.
thank
Just to
you.
put out there.
I feel like you are too.
Yes, you too.
Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide.
She's already getting clouded me and everything, right? On air.
I learned from Quincy, okay?
I love it.
I'm kind of funny occasionally.
No, you are funny.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Yes, yeah.
You got. So I want to ask you one last question before we wrap this up, and I'm going to start with you, Patricia. All right. So everyone has a different definition of your peak life. Okay. So give me your tell us the viewer, myself, the viewers, whoever the hell you want to direct us to. What is your definition of your peak life?
Wow, I don't know, because sometimes I was thinking that just my personal life was my peak life back in the time, and I think I fulfilled that because I was a young mom. I have 2 kids, 2 beautiful boys, 29, 24 years old, and when I was so happy because and somehow I always knew that I want to have a family at a very young age. So for me, that was my priority, always. And I think things change, because the mentality that you have when you're 17 is not the same when the years passing by.
Yep.
And life is tough. So, but even though I always manage myself to be the best mom that I can be, to be close to them, and at the same time to teach them like you never give up. And peak life, it cannot just be just family, because the kids, they're from the life.
Yeah.
They're my kids for a moment, and I have to give them the best tools to defend themselves in life. So then it transformed my mind, like, okay, what is next, and how I can be an example for them when I'm not here tomorrow. So from there, I was trying to manage, like, be there as a mom, as a friend, and I have a very good connection with them. And they're, young adults right now. And at the same time, showing them, like, just fight for your dreams, keep fulfilling what you love in life, and do the best that you can do. So it's not just finished out. Sometimes it can be businesses, sometimes it can be having a beautiful house and money. It's not just that. It's more than that for me, if you ask me. So I think my point was on that. Family, and keep moving forward the right direction, the right way. Mistakes are good. You need those.
Yeah.
You need those mistakes to learn from those mistakes and say, okay, what did I do wrong?
Right.
And do it again. Never give up.
Ashley Fish.
Snyder. Kidding.
Her nickname just used to be Fish. Like they just call
It's
her that.
okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. I still respond to that. I'm just giving you a hard time. I would say for me, the key word for living your peak life is balance. Finding a happy medium between excelling at your career and also being there for your kids and your husband. The balance between making sure that your kids are happy and healthy and fed, but also pouring into yourself. I feel like balance is something that people have to constantly work on because things are always changing. But I think if you can really sit with yourself and know that you're kind of like giving close to 100% in anything that you're stepping out to do. I think that's my definition of living my peak life. Like being able to go out and execute a show or an event, like whatever we're doing, but then being able to be home in time to tuck the kids into bed.
June, what's your definition? Because ours changed in the industry, and then I'll end with it and go from there because I have a.
So I always say I'm currently living my peak life.
Your pickleball? I heard you said
You know what I
pickle.
mean?
Hey.
Pickleball, because I do
Pickleball.
play pickleball.
Yes, he
It's
does.
part of my peak life.
Okay.
See? That's us.
but-
My son plays that.
As I get older, I understand that living your peak life is also managing and excelling and keeping, on track with your goals no matter what happens in life. Right? So many times,
Yes.
so often, people are waiting for the perfect moment.
It will never come
There's
out.
no perfect
There is no perfect
Yes.
moment. So to actually live in your peak life, you have to understand that you're going to live with struggles. You're
Yep.
going to live with heartache, with pain, with death in your family, and even financial struggles at times, right? Things are going to happen, but you just need to enjoy the moment.
Yes.
And that, to me, is, living your peak
Very
life.
true.
You know, it's ironic. A lot of us have comparable peak life isms in our vernacular on what we're talking about here. And then, like with me, living your peak life is just you fail forward. Fail stands for first attempt in learning.
Yeah.
And the more you
Yeah.
keep going forward in
Yes.
that, the more you learn, the
Yes.
better you're going to get at whatever you're deciding to do.
Correct.
Right? There's no wrong answer. I don't care if you're flipping burgers or you're flipping or you're doing
Houses.
whatever you want. It doesn't
Houses.
matter,
Yeah.
right? Or flipping
Flipping
houses,
houses.
right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. It's just never be complacent, because being complacency is like one of the worst drugs out there, because people are just chilling, just letting the days go by. So your peak life is setting a goal, short term, getting it, whether it's I'm going to make my bed this morning,
Yeah.
or I
Exactly.
want to lose 5 pounds or whatever, achieving it and then doing it again, because that's going to be the most fulfilling thing that anybody as a human can get, is that feeling of accomplishment. Like
Right.
that feeling of accomplishment from the little to the biggest thing, because a lot of us can be,
Yep.
a lot of us will admit, we feel that we don't do enough.
Oh, yeah.
We all feel that way in our personal lives, business. There's just ways around it, right? I had a conversation with you the other day. I want to make sure I'm providing more value, right? And you're like, Julien, what are you talking about, bro? You're doing enough. I'm like, but in my mind, I'm like,
Right.
compared to what? Am I doing the comparison as a thief of joy thought process at that point in time? Probably, but it's because I care and because I want to continue to grow, and I have that energy right now that I'm not going to just chill for nobody. I
Exactly.
want to make sure that I can continue to grow and do it the right way, while keeping a little bit of balance.
Yep.
While making sure that I can see the children grow up and be amazing.
Yes.
While enjoying the fruits of our labor and stopping to smell the roses. And while you guys out there are tuning into the show and taking
Yes.
in this value that we're just trying to drop by just introducing you to other individuals that actually care, and understanding that we're all human. We're learning, we're growing, and we're trying to make sure that we can show you that there is different versions of your peak life. So ask your question this: what is your peak life? What is your definition of that in 2025? What was it last year in 24? What is it going to be in 2026? The cool thing is there's no wrong answer.
Yep.
It's whatever your definition of that's going to be. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you comment, make sure you tune in to
Yes.
Living 757. Drop that real quick.
Yes.
When the show dates on TV.
Monday through Friday, channel 60, 10 in the morning? 11 in the morning. Yes.
11 in the morning, various times during prime time, and then all of our segments also go on YouTube.
Yes, and you can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok under Living 757.
What's your personal?
Patty K76 on Instagram and Patricia Avila Facebook
Ashley F. Snyder on Instagram and TikTok.
and TikTok. Yeah.
Yep.
You just can find us.
Edwin Rodriguez, VAB, at Instagram, and then Edwin Rodriguez on Facebook. I'm old. Just follow me on Facebook.
You got a MySpace too if you want to follow that as well. And,
You
and-
have MySpace?
No, I'm making it up.
Oh my gosh.
I was like,
off
what
of-
did you do to get that? Isn't that like not a thing?
He's good friends with Tom. That's why, Tom, him and Tom, he go way back.
Yeah.
Dude, he was my friend back
That's-
in the day too.
Yes.
And then at DJ Julien Rivera everywhere you can find it.
Yes,
Thank you for tuning in
subscribe.
again today. Your Peak Life Podcast signing out. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you,
Yes,
Patricia.
thank
Thank you,
you, guys.
Edwin.
Thank you for having
Yes.
us.
Appreciate
Next
it.
episode. See y'all next time. Peace.